Welcome to today's explainer. We are jumping right into an epic ancient Egyptian mystery straight out of Genesis chapter 40. We're talking about a dark, gloomy dungeon, two royal workers who really messed up with the most powerful man in the world, and some seriously wild dreams that actually predict the future. So, get ready for a fast-paced story packed with twists, turns, and some really fascinating symbols. Now I gotta ask, have you ever had a completely bonkers dream that you just knew meant something huge? Well, that is exactly what happened to two very important men in the royal palace. Just imagine being locked away in a prison dungeon, totally separated from your normal life, and suddenly having a bizarre, incredibly vivid dream that leaves you absolutely desperate for answers. Let's find out who these guys are. Section 1. The Prison Meeting. So Pharaoh, the mighty king of Egypt, gets absolutely furious with his two top guys and throws them straight into the deepest prison. On one side, we've got the chief cupbearer. His job was super important. He personally handed the king his royal drink. And on the other side, we have the chief baker, the guy in charge of all Pharaoh's delicious treats. And guess who gets assigned to be their attendant in prison? Yep, our hero Joseph. But one morning, Joseph notices both of these important men are looking incredibly sad. Being the kind guy he is, Joseph asks them, "Hey, why are you looking so sad today?" They complain that they each had this bizarre dream the night before, and nobody is around to interpret what they mean. But Joseph steps up with totally supreme confidence. He tells them, "Don't interpretations belong to God? Tell it to me, please." He knows he doesn't have magic powers, but he knows for sure that God holds all the answers. Section 2. The Cupbearer's Grape Dream. Seeing Joseph's awesome confidence, the cupbearer decides to go first, and here's exactly what he saw. First, a vine appeared with 3 branches. Second, those branches suddenly budded and burst into these beautiful, colorful blossoms. Third, big clusters of bright, ripe grapes appeared out of nowhere. And fourth, he took those grapes, squeezed them directly into Pharaoh's fancy cup, and handed it right back to the king. But what does it all mean? Joseph excitedly cracks the code, and it all revolves around one magical number, 3. Joseph tells the cupbearer, the 3 branches are 3 days. Just 3 days. I mean, imagine the suspense. The clock was ticking and something massive was going to happen in exactly 72 hours. Joseph gives him the absolute best news. Within 3 days, Pharaoh is going to restore the cupbearer to his office. He's going to be handing Pharaoh his cup just like the good old days. But then, Joseph makes a really desperate plea. He says, "Remember me when it goes well with you. Mention me to Pharaoh so he'll release me." Joseph explains that he was actually kidnapped and has done absolutely nothing wrong to deserve being stuck in this dungeon. Section 3. The Baker's Bread Dream. Well, when the chief baker hears that incredibly happy interpretation, he gets super excited and jumps right in to share his own dream. Step 1, he dreamed he was balancing 3 baskets of white bread right on top of his head. Step 2, the top basket was overflowing with delicious baked goods specifically made for Pharaoh. But then step 3 happens. Suddenly, a whole flock of hungry birds swooped down and started eating all the king's treats right out of the basket on his head. Once again, our dream detective steps up, and once again, it all comes down to the number 3. Joseph explains the 3 baskets are 3 days. The countdown is exactly the same for both of these men. But for the baker, the meaning of the number 3 takes a very, very scary turn. Joseph bravely delivers the terrifying truth. He doesn't sugarcoat it at all. He looks at the baker and says, "Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head from off you. He will hang you on a tree, and the birds will eat your flesh." Whoa, what a massive contrast, right? Joseph told the total truth, even when it was incredibly hard to hear. Section 4. Pharaoh's Big Birthday Party. So the clock starts ticking, and the suspense in that dungeon must have been completely off the charts. Day 1 goes by. Day 2 passes, and then, bam, Day 3 hits, and wouldn't you know it, on this 3rd day, Pharaoh throws a massive, epic birthday party for all of his officials. During the massive celebration, Pharaoh brings the 2 servants out of the dungeon to face their final destinies. And exactly what Joseph predicted comes true flawlessly. The 2 paths totally split right here. Pharaoh restores the chief cupbearer back to his position so he can hand Pharaoh his royal cup again. But just as Joseph warned, Pharaoh hangs the chief baker. Literally everything happened exactly as Joseph had interpreted down in the dungeon. But guys, here is the massive, heartbreaking twist in our story. The cupbearer forgot Joseph. Even though Joseph's amazing interpretation gave the cupbearer his life and his awesome job back, the text says, nevertheless, the chief cupbearer didn't remember Joseph but forgot him. As soon as he was safe and happy up in the shiny palace, he just left our innocent hero stuck down in that dark, miserable prison. Section 5. Trusting God's perfect timing. It seems like a really sad ending for Joseph right now, doesn't it? But this waiting game brings us to our major food for thought today. The moral of Genesis 40 is this: God guides all things. Trust his timing over human promises. Look, people might forget us, or they might break their word, but God never forgets. Joseph's story is far from over, and God's perfect timing is going to set him free in a spectacular way. So, if the most powerful man in Egypt completely forgot about Joseph, how in the world is God going to use these wild dreams to eventually save an entire nation? You're going to have to wait to find out. Click the bell button, like, share, and subscribe.